Good evening and welcome to New Bedford High School basketball. Tonight from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym, it's the New Bedford Whalers against the Bishop Hendricken Hawks from Rhode Island. I'm Keith Tebow, joined by Bernie Picanisco. And Bernie, the Whalers are on a roll. They've won their last 3 games.
Yeah, they're playing very good basketball right now, and a key reason has been the bench. I mean, they're getting some great play from Tim Walsh and from Pat Reedy coming off the bench, along with, of course, Aaron Campini. Can't forget him. And, of course, boy, what an outstanding job Matt DeSantos has done. I mean, he's just come out and just filled in that role of shooting guard and done it with a vengeance.
Bishop Hendricken from Rhode Island, and usually when we think of teams from Rhode Island, they usually don't measure up to the Massachusetts teams, but who knows tonight?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Bishop Hendricken is ranked number 1 in the state of Rhode Island, and from talking with athletic director Dick Pott a little while ago, he said we're in for a big surprise tonight. He says Rhode Island basketball doesn't usually measure up to Mass basketball, but they've got a very good player, and they've also got a very good team, so we'll find out.
It's an interstate matchup. New Bedford and Bishop Hendricken will have the tip in just a moment. Back here at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym, as it's Motown in the background, as the two teams finish their preparations for tonight's non-conference matchup between the Hawks from Bishop Hendricken and the Whalers of New Bedford. The Hawks come in at 15-4, 12-1 in their league in Rhode Island, and as Bernie had said in our pregame show, they're the number 1 ranked team in Division I in the state of Rhode Island, while the Whalers come into this ball game at 13-5. And after this game, have only one more contest next week at Medford. So, Whalers wrapping up this season. Again, Bernie, seems like these seasons just fly by.
Yeah, you know, it goes by real fast, and sometimes you begin to wonder where the games went. It seems like only yesterday we were talking about a Whaler team that had started out 8-0, and then they had some problems late in games, closing out a couple of teams, and a couple of games I thought they should have won, got blown out only in one game that I can remember, and that was the second game against Brockton after they had blown Brockton out before that.
Right.
But they've overcome the missing of some players. They've overcome some problems closing out games, and they're heading for the tournament, as they do every year. And it's going to be interesting to see now how they play in the tournament now that the first season is over and the second season gets ready to begin after Tuesday's game, I guess it is, against Medford.
And actually about a week from today, we should have the pairings. And I would assume that New Bedford will probably play Wednesday or Thursday of the week after next, which would be the week of the 21st, 22nd, I believe. They usually start that Wednesday or Thursday following week. So, and we'll be there every step of the way for the New Bedford Whalers, as we are every year. We've done these games, our 5th season of basketball here on New Bedford Educational Access Television.
And as the starting lineups get ready to be announced here, and they take Motown off the air on a Saturday night here at New Bedford High, not a bad crowd on both sides to watch this game. As you watch New Bedford High School, a couple of keys to remember is that every time you see a made basket, you're going to see them go into a full court press. After they make a foul shot, well, that's when you'll see the 1-3-1 half-court trap. And, of course, that three-quarter court press is something Coach Rodrigues likes to use. He likes to get in a zone and then trap at that point. You'll see man-to-man. You'll see some 2-3 zone. And overall, as always, and as it's always been, it'll be the defense keying the offense.
Had a chance to speak with Coach Steve Cesaretti of Hendricken before the game, and he has a couple of concerns tonight, Bernie. One of them is the fact that his team played last night, so they're playing back-to-back nights. He hopes his team does not have heavy legs, as he put it. And secondly, he says he's worried about the press, because usually in Rhode Island, by and large, there aren't a lot of teams that press at least to the extent that New Bedford does.
Well, Valentine's Day, a little special treat here as some of the cheerleaders are being introduced, and you see Dante along with Pat Reedy. John Silva giving out flowers.
Yeah, must be.
I think these are
maybe
sisters.
senior. It could be senior night, I believe, as well here.
I think that might have been Blair Ramos's sister. I'm not sure.
And so, senior cheerleaders tonight, as the senior cheerleaders are being recognized tonight.
Getting a little Valentine flower. Isn't that nice? What'd you give me for Valentine's Day? Anything?
It's in the mail.
Ah. Okay.
The starting lineups now are going to be announced. Let's look at the Bishop Hendricken Hawks with a record of 15-4. At the guards will be Chris Sabatoni and DJ Munier. He is their best player, Munier is, and we'll be calling his name, I'm sure, quite often tonight. The forwards will be Rocco Baldelli and Jonathan Trant, and Mark DiFranti will be the center for the Hawks this evening. For the Whalers, the lineup which we saw the other night, they will have Mark Fatula and Mark DeSantos in the backcourt, Isaiah Hauptman, Dante Balistracci up front, and Blair Ramos is back at center this evening. So Whalers, that combination has worked out well, and hopefully it'll work out again tonight.
Yeah, they've been playing some very good basketball. Like the combination that's been out there on the floor, it's been doing a very, very good job. And, I look across the way, looking at Dante Balistracci and how he's built himself up with hitting the weight room and looking across the way. I don't see anybody on the other team that looks like there's any size or bulk there, so he might have a field day before this night is over.
And that may actually be the case, as the Hendricken Hawks are in their road green uniforms, dark green with the bright yellow. I really wouldn't say gold, it's more like a yellow trim and yellow numbers.
Yeah, I made the comment when I walked in that they should have played this game on Christmas Day. We could have had the red and green out here, maybe minus that yellow. Maybe we could have talked to the coach about the yellow look there. Those are pretty ugly uniforms if you want, if you want the truth.
They're pretty, yellow is pretty bright.
Yeah.
The junior varsity team had sort of like a gold trim, and I thought that would be a little more appropriate, as the Voc-Tech Bears have that gold trim and gold numbers and letters.
Yeah, that doesn't look bad. That's that Wake Forest look as we talked about the other night. But these are just, the Hendricken Hawks really just have some pretty ugly colors there.
Well, the Hawks, does the Hawk have any yellow or green in? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but maybe the athletic director was a Green Bay Packers fan.
And I'm sure our colleague to our right, Ed Pereira, who's a big Green Bay Packer fan, must like the color of the uniforms, as always here at New Bedford, the junior ROTC, to display the colors, and we will have our national anthem. Nice crowd on hand here at the Beersworth Gonzalez Gym for this Saturday night contest. And I guess it's kind of a tradition now with New Bedford High School basketball, Bernie, that Coach Eddie Rodricks the past few years has scheduled a lot of games on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's a nice Saturday night out, so to speak. Family time. Come out here with the kids and get an opportunity to watch the local big school in the area play some basketball against some pretty good basketball teams. And they always try to make these games, whether they're the Saturday evening games or those Sunday afternoon games, they try to make them against some very good competition. You remember St. Anthony's out of New Jersey coming up here playing on a Sunday afternoon, and then of course you also had another team from New York that was down here to play on a Saturday. So they always try to make it an enjoyable evening. And our officials, by the way, Keith, for tonight, Paul Bortolani and Vinny Totoni.
My goodness.
So we've got Picanisco here on the microphone with Totoni and Bortolani refereeing the game.
And a Parati directing.
And how did Tebow get here?
I feel overmatched. Blair Ramos will tip it off with Rocco Baldelli, and right away Munier gets the ball, puts it up, no good for the Hawks. Rebound taken down by Isaiah Hauptman. So right away, Hendricken looked to run. Fatula, the ball over his head, now Dante. Hawks are playing his zone. Dante looks to drive, puts up the shot, banks it off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound taken down by Chris Sabatoni. Outlet pass, Munier over to Baradelli. Check that, Baldelli, and it's good.
You'll get those names down.
I'll get them.
All those good Italian names.
All those good Italian boys. 2-0, Hendricken on top. Blair Ramos with the shot, no good. And Baldelli gets the rebound. Trent. Baldelli in the corner, looks for the three, will drive instead. Pass inside is stripped away. Here comes Isaiah Hauptman. Isaiah all the way is fouled as the ball is knocked out of bounds. I believe the foul will be before the shot. It will be on Chris Sabatoni, and it will be a shooting foul.
All right, that's going to put Isaiah Hauptman on the line. First foul against the Hendricken Hawks. Goes against Sabatoni.
And Isaiah will shoot two. Cannot make the first. Just underway here from the Beardsworth Gonzalez gym. And the Hawks lead 2-0. Isaiah makes one of two, and it's 2-1.
And as we said earlier, 1-3-1 half-court trap after a foul make. You see Isaiah is the point man on that 1-3-1.
DeFranti in the corner now. Baldelli looks to drive. He does. Puts the shot off the glass. No good. Shot up and in by the center, Mark DeFranti. And the Hawks are going to press. And DeSantos brings it over. Isaiah, now Blair Ramos up high. Trent guards him. And Blair cans it.
Very smooth that time, looking very smooth, Blair Ramos with the jumper. And as I said so many times in our previous broadcast, Keith, he just gets better every game.
4-3, the Hawks on top. This is Sabatoni. He's the point guard. Jonathan Trent. Munier. Try to swing it around. Trent. Inside, traveling.
That'll be the
Baldelli.
Second turnover by the Hawks. Baldelli that time moving those feet a little bit underneath the basket in that low post position.
Fatula will bring it up for the Whalers. Now Isaiah's got it. Whalers look to take their first lead. Dante. Over to Blair. Blair again inside the lane, has it partially blocked, and Munier gets the rebound. Bounce pass to Trent, and they're going to call a foul on DeSantos.
Well, that'll be the first on Matt DeSantis and also the first on the team, so they'll be inbounding the ball. But the Whalers right now, very cold, 1 for 4 in the opening moments of this game from the floor.
Sabatini nearly has it stolen away, and now it's knocked out of bounds. It's going to be off Trent, and the Whalers catch a break.
Yeah, I tell you, that's a good defensive play there by Isaiah Hauptman, creating that turnover. Got his quick hands in there.
13.5 minutes left to go in the first half. 4-3, the Hawks on top. Ball is slapped away, and Sabatoni has it. Coming back the other way, bounce pass to Munier for two.
Nice look inside that time to DJ Munier. going in for the basket. How do you get on this team?
I know. Blair Ramos inside is hemmed in. Dishes it back out. DeSantos will take the shot. It won't go. Ball is knocked up and taken down by Jonathan Trant.
Whalers right now just ice cold as the Hawks come right back with that basket by Baldelli.
And it's 8-3 now. Hawks on top.
Rocco Baldelli.
DeSantos off the mark again. And DeFante gets the rebound. Ball on the floor. Dante's got it. Dante over to DeSantos. No, tipped up by Balistracci.
All right, good play there by Dante following the missed shot, and they're going to have to get a few more offensive rebounds as the timeout's being called, as they are ice cold from the floor, Keith. Only two baskets made in something like 8 shots. 2 for 8 from the floor, the Whalers in the early going here.
Chris Sabatoni looks like he's injured and is going to sit out. And coming into the ball game will be Carl Reels, number 34.
For Bishop Hendricken, number 34, Carl Reels is in the ball game.
And for the Whalers, Aaron Campini is in the ball game. And he replaces Matt DeSantos. Hawks get the ball in. Munier over to Trent.
See the Whalers pressuring the ball, trying to create the turnover.
And Reels just gets it into the front court. And there's going to be a foul on the call. And it's going to be on Dante Balistracci.
Personal foul has been charged to New Bedford's Dante Balistracci.
Well, that's his first personal foul and the second on the team.
Foul of the half on New Bedford.
Jonathan Trent will inbounds the ball. Gets it into Munier. Whalers now drop back into his zone. Trent in the corner, that's Reels. Munier looks for the 3. In the corner is Reels. Now Munier back on top. Baldelli. Trent will take a 3. Off the front of the rim, no good. DeFante with the rebound and cannot get it to fall. Blair Ramos with the rebound. Outlet pass, Dante all alone for 2.
All right, they ran the floor well that time, and here comes the pressure defense again, but the Hawks looked like they were going to break the press easily, and then Matt DeSantos came over, and I believe he'll be called for the foul.
Aaron Campini in the ball game. Call with the foul. That is the 3rd team foul on the Whalers. Substitutions for the Hawks. Sean Garrity is in the ball game, as well as number 35, Mark Yakovonis.
New Bedford's got to do a much better job of boxing out underneath right now. They're not really getting any kind of second shots on the missed shots.
And DJ Munier cans a 3. 11-7. Hawks have had the lead since the opening tip. Isaiah will take a 3. Air ball, too strong, and it goes out of bounds. And it's going to be New Bedford basketball.
All right, Whalers getting a break on that one.
And Aaron Campini will inbounds the ball for the Whalers. Played about 5 minutes. Whalers down by 4. Lob pass inside. Dante cannot get the reverse layup to fall. Gets his own rebound. Fatula out deep. Now Blair Ramos, who's up high. And Fatula now calls out a play. Campini bounce pass inside. Balistracci works his way in for 2.
All right, Dante now has 6 of his team's 9 points, and he's been the only guy underneath.
On the steal, Isaiah ties it up. 10:35 left in the first half. We're tied at 11, and Coach Steve Saracerti calls a timeout. Knotted at 11.
Well, Steve Cesaretti.
I'll get it.
Cesaretti is the coach, and he called a timeout immediately because, as you said earlier, Keith, I think in the pregame is the fact that he's concerned that his team playing last night and playing a full game and now coming up against the pressure defense, he doesn't want them to get heavy legs here and start creating, having turnovers occur because they're creating the turnovers from being tired. So he's going to use his timeouts very judiciously in this game and make sure that he gives his guys a blow and not let New Bedford get into that frenetic pace that they like to try to create.
Earlier tonight, Tom Tarpey's JV team was successful in beating the Hawks 61-54. And I've yet to see Tom's team lose, at least the games we've been at.
Tom's done a very good job. If you noticed in that game, while I was talking to Athletic Director Dick Pont, we were watching the game, and some nice passing by his team. Very unselfish players, moving the basketball around, 4 or 5 passes before a shot.
And they trailed in that game 10-0 to start off. Munier again for 3, no good. Baldelli with the rebound.
Well, Baldelli's a force underneath. Already 6 points and 3 rebounds, and 2 of those offensive rebounds.
13-11, Hendricken back on top. Fatula gives it off to Isaiah Hauptman. Works the screen from Balistracci and cannot hit the shot. But Campini gets the rebound. Campini hemmed in, picked up his dribble, bounce pass inside Blair Ramos. He puts it up off the glass and in.
Nice reverse layup that time by Blair Ramos off the pass, and again the pressure defense, full court pressure defense now.
And Munier brings it right up, has the ball tipped and stolen away. Blair Ramos with it. Now Fatula. Campini, short jumper, no. Ball is saved by Blair Ramos, but he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, Ramos did a good job of hustling to the basketball that time, but stepped on the end line with those big feet.
Mark DeFanti back in. And Mark Yakovonis sits out for the Hawks. Hawks get in, Baldelli, Munier, and they break the press.
Hawks very disciplined, Keith. If you watch them, very disciplined, running their pattern offense and not shooting before it's time.
And then a call DeFanti with taking steps. So that's a turnover for the Hawks.
That's 7 turnovers now. They've turned it over mainly because of the defensive pressure by the Whalers and only 1 or 2 little mistakes.
Campini now to Blair Ramos. Fatula's pass is stolen away by Munier. Munier comes back and can't get it in. Blair Ramos with the rebound.
Well, DJ that time missed an easy layup, so the Whalers catch a break there.
Fatula gives it off to Isaiah, who will pull up for 3. Yes.
Isaiah now with 6 points.
And the Whalers have their first lead, 16-13, and they steal it away. Ball's on the floor. Isaiah's got it and loses it. Baldelli comes back. He goes all the way and has it blocked by Blair Ramos. Isaiah back the other way. He can't get the layup to fall. Here come the Hawks. Baldelli, back and forth basketball. Another block by Ramos, but he's going to be called with the foul.
Yeah, they're going to call him for the foul this time. Blair doing his best Bill Russell impersonation, getting back there, running the floor, blocking shots, and then running the floor to get back down court on the offensive side. Comes back and runs the floor again to get back on the defensive side. I mean, he's sprinting up and down the court, blocking shots and having offensive opportunities.
Rocco Baldelli on the line to shoot 2 and hits the first.
Doesn't get any more Italian than that. When your last name's Baldelli, if you're going to have a first name, you got to have Rocco.
And Pat Reedy is in the ball game, and Matt DeSanto's back in, replacing Fatula and Isaiah Hauptman. Baldelli makes 2, and it's a 1-point Whaler lead.
You can give Baldelli 8 points right now. He's the game's leading scorer for both teams.
Tim Walsh is in the ball game for New Bedford, replacing Blair Ramos. And Walsh played well the other night in the Whaler win against Boston College High.
And Pat Reedy also checked in, so you got the 2 guys off the bench that have been giving Coach Eddie Roderick some good minutes of late.
Campini will bring the ball up. Reedy's got it. Bounce pass inside the Walsh, loses the handle, and ball still on the floor, and it's out of bounds, and it's going to go over to the Hawks.
Well, Reedy that time tried to get Walsh posted up down low with a little bounce pass, and Hendricken getting their hands on it, creating the turnover.
Sabatoni back in the ball game as well for the Hawks, and Trent called for traveling.
And there's that defensive pressure again, creating that turnover, creating that. You have to think very quickly when you play against the Whalers, and if the mind isn't in gear to think quick enough, some of those little mistakes are going to happen.
We are halfway through the first half. Whalers have a 1-point lead. Bounce pass inside. Dante, spin, no good. Trent with a rebound. Hawks come back the other way. Long pass. Yakovonis has the ball blocked, and Reedy gets it down. And there's going to be a foul on the play. And I think it's going to be against the Whalers.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a good defensive play there by Pat Reedy. Campini left his feet, went with the fake, but right behind him, Reedy stayed at home and waited for him to take the shot before getting his hands on it to block it.
Actually, the foul is called on Mark Yakovonis. DeSantos weaves his way through. Shot is up, air ball no good. Walsh got the rebound, but had it stripped away by Trent. Here comes the Hawks. Trent all the way. He can't get the layup to fall. And the ball is out of bounds. It will stay with Hendricken.
Good basketball game so far.
Trent in the corner. Munier looks to weave his way through. Dishes it back out to Sabatoni. And now Munier gets it back. Whalers in the zone. Sabatoni now up high. Yakovonis outside the three-point arch. Now Trent is double teamed, and he double dribbled.
Well, another turnover, and it looks like the Bishop Hendricken Hawks really are being bothered by that New Bedford pressure. A lot of little tiny mistakes. Shuffling feet, double dribbling.
Meanwhile, on the other end, the Whalers just can't make any baskets.
Well, the Whalers are having a tough time putting the ball in the hole, but more importantly, they're not getting second and third opportunities because Hendricken's controlling the backboards.
DeSantos, Dante inside. Can't get it to fall, and Trent comes down with the rebound.
There's an example of what I was talking about, Keith. One shot, and that's it, and then the rebound taken down by Hendricken.
And then Trent traveled again. So Jonathan Trent has had a tough first half with turnovers.
10 turnovers now by the Hawks. But you can see what I was talking about. New Bedford gets one shot off, and Hendricken doing a great job on the fundamentals of boxing out and not letting the Whalers anywhere near the glass.
Ball is tipped on the way in, and Sabatoni has it for the Hawks. He's going to go all the way. Can't get it to fall, but he's fouled. Foul's going to be on Pat Reedy. That is the 5th on the team.
As the first on Pat Reedy. Nobody on the New Bedford team in foul trouble. 5 fouls on 5 different players.
Chris Sabatoni will shoot 2. He makes the first.
Bishop Hendricken out of Warwick, Rhode Island, and been over to the school. In fact, we've done some games at Bishop Hendricken when I was doing radio work, and I can tell you that all around that school, Keith, no surprise, I'm sure, all around that school, a lot of Italian bakeries, a lot of Italian pizza joints, and that's why you have so many Italians playing on this team. The neighborhood.
It's the neighborhood. The Hawks retake the lead, 17-16, as entering the ball game, Steve Lamb for the Hawks. Isaiah Houtman enters the ball game, as to Charles Crowder for the Whalers. We saw Crowder play in our last telecast, and he played a whale of a ball game.
Yeah, and he had a good game the next game after that. Reading about it in the local newspaper, the Standard Times did a real good job in the next game.
Fatula's three-pointer is no good, and Munier comes back down for the Hawks. Reels is back in. Munier, Lamb with the basketball now. Ball deli, bounce pass inside to the wrong man as Fatula steals it away.
Yep, sloppy pass that time as he tried to do some interior passing and just passed it right to Fatula.
Campini cans a 3, and the Whalers retake the lead, 19-17. Lamb traveled.
He tried to stop himself. You could see he wanted to stop and just wait for the defensive pressure to go by, but move those feet.
So the Whalers get the ball back with a 2-point lead. Blair with the short jumper off the back of the rim, no good. Ball deli with the rebound. Munier up high, being guarded by Campini. Trent will pull up for 3, no good. Rebound taken down by Fatula, and his pass for Campini is too far.
Well, that'll be the 7th turnover now for the Whalers, and Coach Eddie Roderick's getting up and yelling out the type of defense he wants, is that full court pressure defense.
Munier gets it back in. 5:23 left in the first half. And the Hawks are going to set up a play. Swinging around, Munier. Lamb nearly stolen away. Baldelli, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound tipped up and taken away by Trent. So the Hawks, the edge in rebounding here in the first half.
Yeah, big time, and they're getting second and third opportunities. Lucky for New Bedford, what you just saw happen has been happening a lot in the first half. Another turnover, this time Baldelli trying to look underneath, and he creates the 13th turnover for Bishop Hendricken.
Sean Garrity and Mark Yarkovonis back in for the Hawks. As Mark Fatula brings the ball up into the front court. Under 5 minutes left in the first half. Low scoring contest, 19-17. Whalers up by 2. Campini baseline, and he traveled.
Well, that's why it's a low scoring contest. 8 turnovers for the Whalers now, 13 for the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. 21 turnovers in the first half, 21 times. These two teams have come into their offensive zones and not gotten a shot off.
Munier double team, gets it off to Trent, who'll bring it up. Baldelli all alone, short jumper off the glass and in, and we're tied again.
Kissed it off the window.
19 apiece. And Fatula throws it away as Campini was cutting toward the inside.
Well, Campini gave the first step to the inside. Now, I don't know if things have changed since when I was in school, but when you made a fake in one direction, you went in the other direction, and I think he kind of anticipated, Fatula anticipated he was going to come back to get the ball.
Dante Balistracci back in the ball game. And the Whalers now have their starters back in there. Balistracci, DeSantos, Blair Ramos, Mark Fatula, and Isaiah Hauptman. Hawks in the backcourt, Garrity, Munier. And they get it over to Yakovonis. Moves to the corner, now they bring it back out. Munier will take a 3, it's going to be short, and Isaiah Hauptman gets the rebound.
That was an NBA 3.
Whalers in the corner, Blair Ramos. Kicks it back out to DeSantos. DeSantos looks to drive, and he traveled.
Well, there's that fake again. It seems like some officials will immediately, as soon as you try to fake, call that a traveling. And there are those watching the game who will say, well, Bernie, that's because he did move his feet and it is traveling.
There you go. You're just following the rules, and the Hawks throw it away. Blair Ramos. He throws it away.
Yeah, the crowd right about now getting a little restless watching more turnovers than you'd find in one of the local Portuguese bakeries.
And Coach Eddie Rodrigues calls timeout. Not an Italian bakery, maybe in Rhode Island?
Well, maybe. I don't know if they serve turnovers in those bakeries. Seriously, though, what's happening right now is that the Hendricken Hawks are in this game. They're tied at 19 with the Whalers because they've controlled the backboards. They've had second opportunities. The Whalers are in this game right now with 19 points because of the fact that Hendricken has turned the ball over in the offensive zone 15 times now. So both teams having a little bit of a weakness here in the first half. The Whalers not getting second opportunities, not hitting the offensive glass. Well, Hendricken is just very sloppy with their passes. Some of it created by the New Bedford defense, but a lot of these little ticky-tacky things they're doing really, it just looks like a tired team out there.
Yep. So I'm sure that's what Coach Ed Rodrigues wanted to talk about, making some better decisions with the basketball.
Well, I think if the Whalers really up-tempo the defense, if they really put on a burst here and up-tempo the defense, that Hendricken is ripe to turn the ball over quite a bit, and the Whalers would be able to go on maybe a 9 or a 10-0 run.
And the Hawks get it in. No real pressure here by the Whalers. Munier. In the ball game now is Chris Hansen, number 23, for the Hawks. Inside, Baldelli has it. Munier. Back to Yakovonis, who hits the short jumper.
Yakovonis in the lane.
And the Hawks retake the lead. 21-19. Isaiah fouled on the way through, and the referee's going to say it was in the act of shooting, and the foul is going to be on Chris Hansen.
You know, Isaiah Hauptman's got such good speed and got such a good first step that sometimes when we watch him play, I say to myself, he got to do that more often. Take the ball to the basket. I think sometimes he settles for that jump shot too quickly.
And Isaiah cannot make the first shot.
1 for 3 from the foul line tonight.
Makes 1 of 2, and it is a 21-20 ball game. 3 minutes left. Trent up high. Now Munier from the right wing moves it back up top. Hawks are looking to set up their half-court offense as Baldelli takes the shot, no good. Balistracci gets the rebound.
Dante, good position that time underneath.
Isaiah will take a 3 off the back of the rim. Yakovonis with the rebound. 2.5 minutes left in our first half. Munier, Hanson with the shot. No. Tipped up by Baldelli, no good. Baldelli gets it again, knocked out of bounds. Whaler basketball.
Baldelli trying to keep the ball alive on the offensive glass that time, trying to get the second and third opportunities.
Hendricken seems to be a well-disciplined team, Bernie, especially, as you said, the fundamentals, especially on the boards.
Yeah, they box out well. They play their position. They play good defensive position with their feet.
DeSantos will take a 3 and hit it.
All right, he gets off the mark for the first time. Missed his first 5 shots, but cans that three-pointer.
Whalers up by 2, 23-21. Munier, they get it over. Hanson has it. Pass inside, swatted away by Blair Ramos. Bounce pass to Santos.
That's it, run the floor, and then reward the guy for running the floor.
4-point Whaler lead. Baldelli, wide open 3 off the back of the rim. DeSantos saves it, but saves it to Baldelli. And the Hawks set it up. Trent from inside the arc, yes.
How about the big guy Baldelli hustling out there?
25-23. Dante comes back and he's fouled on the shot. Foul will be on Chris Hansen. That's his second foul.
That's going to be the 4th on the team.
Dante will be on the line to shoot 2 with 1:12 left in the first half.
And neither team in foul trouble yet as far as the bonus is concerned.
Dante makes the first.
7 points now for Dante.
Sean Garrity back in the ball game for Bishop Hendricken. Dante's second shot off the mark. 3-point Whaler lead. 26-23. Baldelli drives, has the ball blocked by Dante, and good save there by Isaiah Hauptman. Blair Ramos loses the handle. Now sends it back out to DeSantos, who will slow it down. In the corner, DeSantos puts up the shot off the glass, no good. Tries and does get his own rebound.
That's good hustle, good hustle.
Dante, baseline jumper off the mark. Yakovonis with the rebound.
Well, the Whalers had a couple of opportunities that time, just couldn't get it to fall.
Munier, who's been kept relatively in check so far in the first half.
Yeah, only 2 points. He's taken 5 shots from the floor.
Garrity, 15 seconds left, 9 on the shot clock. Ball will be knocked out of bounds. They're going to call a jump ball, and it's going to be Whaler basketball, and rightly so, as I think the ball did go off. I believe it was Trent's foot out of bounds.
Yeah, well, Eddie Roderick's not too happy about this. Got his hands in his head and wondering, how can you make a call like that? Tony saw the ball go out of bounds, referee Tony. But on this side, Paul Bortolani didn't want to call it.
Under 10 seconds left, Campini. Dante will take a 3 from the corner and hit it at the buzzer. So the Whalers and the Hawks play a back and forth first half, and not the most crisp of play, but the Whalers have a 6-point lead at the break. With the score, New Bedford 29 and Bishop Hendricken 23. We'll take a break and have our second half coming up in just a moment.
I'm Nikki McCray. I went to Cairo Public High School in Tennessee.
I am Cruz Reynoso. I attended public schools.
I'm Robert Pinsky. I went to Long Branch Public High School in Long Branch, New Jersey.
My public schooling prepared me for a lifetime of opportunities and challenges, and I want the same for our children today.
I urge you to support your public schools.
Every child deserves a quality education.
Every child deserves a chance to succeed.
Hey, throw it to me.
All right, nice pass.
Hey, good catch.
Body go for a long pass.
We're doing the best we can.
I went to public school in Santa Barbara, California.
I went to public schools on Roosevelt, Long Island.
I went to PS 67 in New York.
I attended South Lakes High School in Reston, Virginia.
With a public education, everyone can reach for the stars.
Public education is the most important chapter of our lives.
Public schools are good for all flavors.
Public education, now that's worth singing about.
Public education, it's good for everybody.
Keith Tebow with Brony Picanisco back here at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym at the half. The Whalers have a 6-point lead, 29-23, in a half, Brony, which was actually seesaw. Both teams had leads a number of times, and no team really playing any sharp basketball.
Well, the Whalers having problems with the backboards, as evidenced by the fact that the Hawks pulled down 22 rebounds in the first half, 9 of those off the offensive glass and 13 off the defensive boards. Meanwhile, the Whalers were able to pull down 13 rebounds in total, 5 off the offensive glass and 8 defensive rebounds. So the Whalers being out-rebounded 22-13. Many times they came down court, got one quick shot at the basket, and then you saw Hendricken coming down with the rebound and pushing the ball up floor. Now on the other side, the reason the Whalers have the lead and we're in this game in the first half and tied with this team is because Hendricken just couldn't take care of the basketball. A total of 16 turnovers for Hendricken in the first half, 10 for the Whalers. So Hendricken self-destructing a little bit with the turnovers. Part of that created by the defense of the Whalers, and part of it just some ticky-tacky, I look tired type of turnovers that we saw in the first half. Now taking a look at the scores for you, Dante Bellistracci leads the Whalers. He has 10 points. He also has 3 rebounds, 7 points for Isaiah Houtman. They also got 4 points out of Blair Ramos, along with 4 rebounds, 5 points out of Matt DeSantos, 3 points from Aaron Campini off the bench, and then Mark Fatula, Tim Walsh, Pat Reedy, and Charles Crowder played but did not score for a total of 29. On the other side, for the Bishop Hendricken Hawks, they're being led by Rocco Baldelli.
That's right.
And Baldelli, 10 points and 9 rebounds in the first half. He did a lot of damage under the glass. They also have 2 points out of Jonathan Trant, 5 points from Mark DeFanti, and 2 points from DJ Munier, 2 points from Chris Sabatoni, and 2 points from Mark Yakovonis. The rest of the Hawks, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other players, did not score in the first half for a total of 23. Now the Hawks shot it at 9 for 26 from the floor. Not very good shooting from the Hawks. You look over on the Whalers side of the stat sheet here, 11 of 31 in the first half. That means combined, these two teams shot 20 of 56 from the floor, and that's not very good shooting. From the foul line, the Hawks were 4 of 4, and the Whalers were 3 of 6. three-point land? Well, the Whalers actually shot it at 50%. They were 3 for 6 from trifecta land, while the Hawks were 1 of 3.
So both teams wrapping up their shoot-around before we begin the second half. The Hawks will get the ball to begin play. The Whalers have a 6-point lead. Their biggest of the ball game. They actually rattled off 8 to the Hawks 2 in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds of that first half. That's why the Whalers have that 6-point lead.
Yeah, they did a good job at the close of the half and coming up with some key buckets. And, of course, Dante with the three-pointer at the buzzer as they were heading into the locker room. So a good job of closing out the first half. I still think that maybe, we know this and maybe Coach Eddie Rogers doesn't because you talked with the Hendricken coach, but maybe because they are tired from the game they played last night, that a little bit of up-tempo defensive pressure, and they could open up an 8, 9, 10-point lead here and just cruise the rest of the way.
Both teams have their starters out there, as the Whalers have DeSantos, Hauptman, Fatula, Ramos, and Balistracci. Hawks have Trent, Munier, Sabatoni, Baldelli, and DeFanti. Hawks started out. Sabatoni has it blocked and taken away by Matt DeSantos. Whalers lead by 6 as we begin the second half.
Whalers going into their motion offense.
Dante up high in the corner now to Isaiah Hauptman, who will bring it back out. Ball tipped and nearly stolen away, and is stolen away by Munier. Munier in the front court. Goes all the way past the Baldelli. Sabatoni now will take a wide open 3 and shoots an air ball. Balistracci gets the rebound. Outlet pass, Blair Ramos. Fatula for 3, rattles in and out. Baldelli with the rebound.
Yeah, nobody's boxing him out. 10 rebounds already for Baldelli.
Munier, no. Isaiah with the rebound. Whalers look to run, but can't do it as the Hawks get back on defense. Santos, Blair Ramos, back to Santos, and he traveled.
Well, the turnovers continue. The poor shooting continues here in the second half. Two teams combined 0 for 3 from the floor and 3 turnovers.
Jonathan Trent will inbounds the ball. Dante Balistracci with the pressure. And they get it into Munier. Munier all the way, high off the glass and in.
Yeah, just took it strong, put his head down, and he said, I'm going to the basket, and you're either going to block this or it's going in, and it went in.
29-25, DeSantos, wide open 3 from the corner, yes.
Boy, he has just been playing so well. 8 points now for Matt DeSantos. What a find.
32-25, Whalers up by 7. In the corner, Baldelli, baseline jumper, yes. 32-27.
When in trouble, go to Rocco. He's been getting it done for him.
Sounds like a commercial.
Rocco and Dante on the same floor here.
Balistracci puts up the shot, no good, but he's fouled on the way through. It's going to be called on Mark DeFanti.
Who knows, someday they may work for the same law firm or maybe for the same accounting firm. It'll be Baldelli and Balistracci. Whew.
Baldelli, Balistracci, and Picanisco. Whalers swing it around, and Baldelli steals it but gives it back to Fatula. Santos out deep. Dante in the lane, puts up the jumper, no. Rebound by Trant. Outlet pass to Munier. Munier looks to go all the way, but passes off to DeFanti for the easy bucket.
There you go, and you can see where Munier is not only a scorer, but he's the guy that usually runs the offense for these guys. Nice pass that time.
Whaler lead cut to 3, 32-29. We've played 2.5 minutes of the second half. Dante works on DeFanti, and DeFanti is going to be called with the foul.
Personal foul has been charged to the Hawks, Mark DeFanti. That's his second personal foul.
That's his second foul and second on the team here in the second half.
Hendricken for the Whalers, Dante Balistracci.
Well, Dante going to the foul line, 10 points, 4 rebounds, and he's been the leading man for this team.
Dante makes the first. And cannot get the second to fall. Rattles in and out. Whalers up by 4, 33-29. Munier picks up his dribble. And on the attempted steal, there's going to be a foul on the play. It's going to be on Matt DeSantos.
That'll be his second personal foul and the first on the Whalers, so they'll inbound the ball on the sideline right in front of the Hendricken bench.
Jonathan Trent into Munier. Baldelli. Pass inside, tipped away and taken away by Balistracci. Fatula looks to drive. His pass is stolen away. Ball's on the floor. Fatula gets it, puts it off the glass and in.
Well, a couple of turnovers back-to-back there, and Fatula ends up with the bucket.
And the ball knocked out of bounds. It will stay with the Hawks. And timeout called by Hendricken with 12:46 left to go in the second half. Whalers have a 6-point lead, 35-29.
Yeah, maintaining that 6-point halftime lead, and you can see that Coach Steve Cesaretti does not want to let the Whalers get any kind of an upper hand here. Again, as I said earlier in the first half, he chooses his timeouts very judiciously and in a very timely fashion, I might add, that as soon as he sees his team breaking down, he's right there to make that quick timeout, try to rally the troops here, get them back into the game, and try to keep this game as close as you can.
I'd like to remind you again that we will have every New Bedford High School basketball game in the tournament when it begins in about a week and a half. And we don't know who they'll play or where they'll play because as of this broadcast, the pairings have not been announced yet.
Every game.
Every game. As long as they keep winning, we'll be there.
They keep winning. They go to the state finals, we'll be there. If they go to the world finals, we'll be there in Spain.
Where is that? Is it Spain this year?
I think it's in Spain this year, the world final.
Barcelona?
Barcelona, Spain.
All right.
I understand that the Spanish high schools have an undefeated record right now, too.
Ah. The Matadors traveling on the part of Trent. Barcelona Matadors, I believe.
Yeah, the Barcelona Matadors. You're right, Barcelona High School. Somebody out there is listening to this right now and watching this game and saying, can we get tickets to that game?
Can try. Blair Ramos, double, triple team, has a fall-away jumper, and it goes.
That's a nice move inside by Blair Ramos with the fall-away.
Biggest lead for the Whalers, it's now 8, 37-29. Trent comes back, banks it off the glass, rattles in and out. Ramos with the rebound. Isaiah on the floor, puts it up, off the back of the rim, tipped up, and Munier gets it for the Hawks. Back the other way, ball tipped, and it'll go out of bounds, and it will stay with Hendricken.
Whalers just not able to finish on some of these plays. I mean, Isaiah with a jump shot from about 10 feet that time. You got to can that one.
Trent looks to get it in. He passes it right to Balistracci. The ball goes off the Santos' foot to Yakovonis, and he puts it in.
And what's happening right now is that each team is keeping the other team in the ball game.
37-31, sloppy contest. Something you'd expect to see in the first game of the season, not the 19th.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're both well-coached teams, both play good defense, and they're both hustling. And they see another tipped ball, and then a bad pass because they're trying to beat them up court with the defensive pressure.
Aaron Campini comes into the ball game for the Whalers, replacing Matt DeSantos, and Jason Coleman will come in for the Hawks.
You can look at this a lot of different ways, Keith, and say both teams are being sloppy, but I think both teams well-coached, both playing good defense, and a lot of the tips and things that you're seeing are because of the fact that both teams are hustling.
Campini in a mismatch as he's being guarded by the big man, and Blair Ramos rattles it in off the glass, and the Whalers have an 8-point lead again.
Yeah, you just cannot leave Blair Ramos alone at the foul line now. I mean, he's just improved so much every game that he can that shot.
39-31. Munier. We've heard so much about Munier, Bernie, and really he's been a non-factor in this game. Yakovonis inside for 2.
Yakovonis likes hearing his name over the microphone, though. A couple of quick baskets.
39-33. Fatula for 3. In and out, no good. Yakovonis with the rebound. Munier kicks it out to Coleman. Now Baldelli will take a three. Off the front of the rim, no good. And foul on the rebound is going to be called on Mark Yakovonis.
And I believe that will be his second.
And it's the third on the team. Jonathan Trant re-enters the ball game, as does Steve Lamb for Bishop Hendricken. 10.5 minutes left in the second half. Whalers up by 6, and they have the basketball. Blair Ramos from just outside the free throw line.
They've given it to him 3 times, and he's canned it all 3 times.
41-33. Munier off the glass, it won't go. There's a foul on the play.
Yeah, I kind of pushed the offense that time as he went right to the basket. He kind of caught a little bit of what you were saying and said, I got to show these guys I can play.
Blair Ramos called with the foul. That's his second and the team's second here in the second half. Munier makes the first.
He now has 5 points.
Makes them both. 41-35. Fatula gets it into the front court.
Token pressure defense that time by Hendricken. They don't want to get up too close to the Whalers.
Hawks playing a man-to-man defense. Blair off a screen. Lob pass inside to Dante. Back out Isaiah. Puts it up. No good. Tipped up, and they're going to call Balistracci with the foul.
Yep, over the back that time on Dante Balistracci. I'll tell you, when he does it too, he comes in sometimes, and because of his size, they're going to blow the whistle automatically.
Trant gets the ball in. And Whalers press. And Munier breaks the timeline. Trant from the free throw line has it blocked by Blair Ramos. Campini. Jumper, no. Steve Lamb with the rebound. Munier, long three, air ball. And it's saved by Coleman, but into the hands of Fatula. Isaiah works baseline, stepped on the baseline, out of bounds.
Isaiah getting caught, hung in the air again that time. Got to make the decision offensively, either take it strong to the basket, take the jump shot, or pass it off, but you don't want to get caught hanging up in the air like that.
6-point Whaler lead, under 9 minutes left. Bounce passes, Coleman to a cutting Yakovonis, but the shot is blocked from behind by Isaiah Houtman. Fatula, now Blair looks to drive, kicks it back out. Fatula gets it, throws it away.
Well, the play is getting a little frenetic right now. Coach Rogers on the other side saying, take it easy, guys, take it easy. Make sure where you're throwing the ball. And Balistracci will check out as Charles Crowder will come back in.
Pat Reedy also in. Baldelli and DeFanti back in for the Hawks.
6 turnovers for the Whalers here in the second half, a total of 16. 7 turnovers in the second half for the Bishop Hendricken Hawks, a total of 23.
Baldelli, bounce pass, Yakovonis, he can't get it to fall again. Blair Ramos with the rebound. Gets it back out to Campini. Reedy in the corner. Pass tipped away. Baldelli, baseline, yes.
Well, there's been one constant in this entire game, and it's been Rocco Baldelli. 14 points and 11 rebounds.
4-point Whaler lead. Crowder to a cunning Campini, and he loses it out of bounds. Carl Reels re-enters the ball game for Hendricken.
8 turnovers now for the Whalers, 18 in the game, 8 here in the second half, and Coach Roderick's going to call a timeout. He had his head in his hands a moment ago, shaking his head, cannot believe what he's watching out there on the floor.
As it's been a sloppy game on both accounts, as neither team has really had their offense in gear at all tonight. And the Whalers had a 6-point lead at the half. Now lead by only 4, 41-37 with under 8 minutes to go here in the second half.
Yeah, and a lot of these passes that are being tipped away, Keith, I mean, sometimes you got to use your head when you're out there. There's a number of different ways to pass the basketball, and one of the lost arts in basketball, especially on the high school level, it seems, and even in the pros, is the bounce pass.
Yep.
And a lot of these passes, a lot of these kids see where they want to throw the ball, and they're trying to throw it directly to the guy, and there's some defensive pressure in between you and the man you're trying to complete the pass to. And that's when these balls get tipped and knocked away, and I think Coach Rogers is telling his team, you might want to fake that pass in the air and bounce it on the floor.
Whalers have Reedy, Campini, Crowder, Fatula, and Blair Ramos. Hawks have Baldelli, Trant, Munier, Reels, and Defenti. That's the lineup right now for both teams. Munier working on Campini. Baldelli gives it off now to Defenti up high. Whalers man-to-man defense. Trant will take the jumper for 3, in and out, no good. Crowder gets the rebound. Reedy in the corner will take a 3. No, in and out. Baldelli pulls down the board. Coming back the other way, Defenti is fouled by Mark Fatula. Only the 4th team foul on the Whalers.
And the poor shooting on both sides continue. There seems to be a cover on the basket tonight.
Somebody take it off. Munier in the corner will take a 3 off the mark. They're going to call a foul over the back. It's going to be on Baldelli.
Well, if you can believe this, that's his first personal foul, and we're talking about a young man that's got 14 points and 12 rebounds.
Done a good job positioning tonight. Matt DeSantos back in the ball game, replacing Mark Fatula in the lineup. Blair Ramos will take the jumper, no good, and the ball is controlled by Carl Reels. And Trent has had a difficult time tonight, and he traveled again.
Well, again, we keep repeating it over and over again, and after a while you get tired of saying it, and I'm sure that the viewing audience gets tired of hearing it, but this is just a turnover bowl.
I like that. Crowder. Ball up high over his head. Balistracci back in the ball game. He has it. Tries to go strong with it. No good. And I think he came down awkward on his left ankle.
Dante trying to make something happen, though. The outside shooting has been cold for the Whalers, so he took it strong to the lane that time and tried to bank it off the glass, at the very least draw the foul.
Carl Reels with the foul.
Oh.
In and out.
I'm telling you, there's a cover on the basket.
Dante makes 1 of 2, and it's a 5-point Whaler lead.
12 points now for Dante, and the Whalers going into that full court pressure defense. Got to come to the basketball.
Baldelli, bounce pass, Defenti. Yes, and there's a foul.
Well, Defante that time getting inside as they broke the press and had a 2-on-1 fast break.
Matt DeSantos with the foul.
That's 3 on Matt DeSantos, and that's the 5th on the Whalers. And Defante at the foul line with 9 points, looking for 10.
Completes the 3-point play, and it's a 2-point Whaler lead, 42-40. 6.5 minutes to go.
How much do those turnovers come into play now?
Santos in the corner. Cross court, Campini looks for the 3, but passes it up. DeSantos. Ball's loose on the floor. Reels has it. And they're going to call jump ball. It's going to be Whaler basketball.
Yeah, the Hawks were frantically trying to call timeout, but before they had a chance to do that, referee Vinny Totoni came in, called it a jump ball, and of course possession arrow in the favor of the Whalers.
3 Whalers starters back in: Isaiah Houtman, Mark Fatula, and Blair Ramos. Nice save there by Reels as the ball was going out of bounds.
Yeah, good hustling defensive play and another turnover for the Whalers.
Reels, we're tied at 42. 6 minutes to go.
Well, it's become a 6-minute basketball game now.
Isaiah Houtman. Again, Reels with the steal, but he throws it to Houtman, who from the free throw line puts up the shot, no good. Blair Ramos with the putback, no. Isaiah with the third time the charm.
All right, good hustle that time, and the ability to keep the ball alive off the offensive glass got the Whalers that particular bucket.
44-42. Trent. Pass is tipped out of bounds.
And again, wouldn't that have been a nice place for a bounce pass? I mean, think about it.
Trent looks to get it in. He does, out deep to Munier. Whalers in the zone. Swinging around, Trent will take a 3. Way off the mark, no good. Ball is saved, and Reels gets the ball in, but had his foot on the sideline and is out of bounds.
Well, we haven't seen Hendricken play before, but John Trant's having a tough game. He's 1 for 8 from the floor, and that's his 3rd air ball.
And he's turned the ball over a number of times on traveling violations.
I'm not sure that Steve Cesaretti really wants him taking the shots at this juncture of the game.
Campini. Now Fatua. 13 on the shot clock. Blair Ramos up high. Will take the jumper. Hit it.
Soft as a snowflake.
46-42. And guess what? Trent traveled again.
Yeah, and there's that defensive pressure we talked about. When the Whalers apply that pressure, it affects this Hendricken team, especially Trent.
Yakovonis is back in the ball game. And the Hawks want a timeout with 4:38 left. Whalers leading by 4, 46-42.
Well, with 4:38 to play, Keith, and a 4-point lead, I'm going to repeat what I've said over and over and over in this game. I mean, you've got to keep possession of the basketball when you have it in your offensive zone and get a shot off. You've got to protect the basketball. You've got to take care of the basketball. The basketball is your friend. Make sure you take care of it. And what's happening right now is that the Whalers have turned the ball over here 9 times in the second half, 19 times all total, and basically they've been not very good to their friend. They've not been taking care of that basketball. For the next 4:38, they've got to take care of the basketball, make good passes, hit the glass, box out, all the little fundamental things, and if they do the fundamentals and then apply that defensive pressure, this game is theirs for the take, and they can run this thing up to about a 10-point victory. If they get sloppy, they don't box out and don't do the things that you got to do to win ball games, and this thing's going to go right down to the wire.
Notice tonight before the game, Bernie, a coach from Medford, which is the Whalers' final opponent on the road here tonight. And not really an indication of the way this Whaler team can play.
Well, maybe that's why they're doing this then. I didn't realize he was here, so maybe it's just a plan.
There you go. Yeah, tell Coach Ed Rodricks that.
Yeah.
He doesn't know about it.
It's just a plan.
Yeah.
Trying to throw the Medford coach off his game.
Oh. Whalers have the ball. Fatula in the corner. Cross court, Campini will take a 3. It's going to be off the mark. Blair Ramos with the rebound, and wisely pulls it back out.
Good job. Now balance the floor and start the offense again.
Isaiah for 3. No, but there's a foul on the play. So Isaiah will get 3 free throws.
Yeah, kind of a foolish foul that time by Mark Yakovonis. I can applaud his enthusiasm, but that's not using the head, Mark.
So 3 free throws coming up for Isaiah Houtman.
6th team foul, too, against the Hendricken Hawks.
Misses the first. That ball was 3/4 of the way through.
2 for 5 here in the second half from the foul line for the Whalers. 5 for 11 on the game, make it 5 for 12. First game of the season that we did. Some very poor foul shooting by the Whalers that night. And
Misses all three. Reels gets the rebound. Munier working on Campini. Gets a screen in the corner. Trant, no good. Tipped up Baldelli with another rebound. Munier in the lane, finger roll.
Well, you can give credit for that one to Baldini, who kept the ball alive.
Whalers up by 2. 3:38 to go. Isaiah with the basketball. Now Campini in the corner. Bounce pass to Blair Ramos. He's double triple team. Makes a spin move and puts it off the glass and in.
Yeah, he's come to play here second half. 10 points. He's hitting 5 for 7 from the floor and doing a great job off the boards. And Steve Cesaretti wants the timeout. But boy, what a job Blair Ramos is doing. 14 points in total to go along with 10 rebounds. And most of that has all been here in the second half. He's just had a stellar second half, and a good thing, too, because without Blair Ramos playing the way he's playing in the second half, the Whalers wouldn't have this 4-point lead.
That was a great spin move as he was double, triple team and just spun toward the baseline and found himself wide open under the basket. Whalers with the 4-point lead. Again, they have 1 game remaining. It's on the road at Medford next week.
Well, Blair Ramos in the second half, 5 for 7 from the floor. The rest of the team, 3 for 14 from the floor. So without Ramos, you don't have the lead you have.
So 3 for 14 and 5 for 7. That's 8 for 21.
Yeah.
And what were they in the first half?
They were 11 for 31. So that's 19 for 52, and that is not good shooting for you young people out there that are watching this game. This is not the film that you want to tape and watch over and over again for shooting techniques.
Unless it's a plan for a scout who may be there. The Hawks bring it in, down by 4. 3:10 to go. Baldelli. Munier looks to drive, kicks it back out to Reels, who loses the control of the ball. They're going to say the ball was blocked, I guess. Baldelli gets it and puts the bucket in. I don't know what happened there.
Well, that was just poor officiating. That's what that was.
Fatula's 3 is off the mark. Hawks can tie it up with a basket here.
Guess who got the rebound?
Baldelli. Munier works the screen, will go all the way, and we're tied again.
Yeah, and right now we're finding out why they talk so much about DJ Munier, because he's starting to take control of the game.
Tied at 48. Under 2.5 minutes left. Dante for 3. Yes!
Oh, I'll tell you what. Been quiet the entire second half with just 2 free throws. And when you need a big bucket, who came up with it? Dante.
And Reels took the inbounds pass and stepped out of bounds. So the Whalers will get the ball back.
26 turnovers in this contest for the Hendricken Hawks.
Campini in the corner. Isaiah.
Balance the floor, Isaiah. There you go.
Campini will take a 3. He hits it. 6 straight points for the Whalers, and they have a 6-point lead with under 2 minutes to go. Munier back the other way for 2.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, did they run that break to perfection or what?
54-50. Dante, another 3 from the corner. Front of the rim, no good. Munier comes back, finger roll, no, tipped up, and Trent gets the rebound. And the Hawks slow it down. 1:25 to go. Whalers up by 4.
Still in the ball game, plenty of time here, especially with a 3-point shot.
Ball is tipped. Baldelli is swinging around. 10 on the shot clock, and Trent traveled again. He's going to be called with a technical foul for slamming the ball to the floor.
Yeah, lost control of himself that time as Trent turned the ball over, and he has had a horrible game. He has turned the ball over. He has not made any buckets. 1 bucket in the 11 attempts from the floor. I mean, just having a terrible time of it, and a little frustrated that time, lost his temper and slammed the ball into the hard floor.
Fatula's going to take the technical fouls.
Oh my. Whalers just can't make a free throw.
Sean Garrity in the ball game, and Trent is going to sit out.
2 for 8 here in the second half from the foul line, and I've never seen so many in and outs.
Well, that one almost wasn't in and out.
Even that one didn't want to stay in.
One free throw for Mark Fatula, so the Whalers have a 5-point lead with 1:13 left on the clock, and New Bedford will get the basketball.
4-possession game here with 30-second clock. That's one of the advantages of the clock. You can't just kill the time any longer. You've got to take a shot. So Hendricken will get at least a couple of possessions.
Whalers calling out a play.
Going into the Georgetown stall.
And you got Blair Ramos, who's standing still right at the free throw line.
Double high post, and then they try to get the man coming off the back of the post. Try to get a man down low like Dante.
He moves and makes an athletic bucket.
Yep, you could say that.
57-50. And double dribble on Baldelli.
And here's where the defensive pressure is causing some concerns for Steve Cesaretti again.
Timeout called by the Whalers with 43.5 seconds left, and New Bedford up by 7, 57-50. They had a lead up of 8 early in the second half. That's been their largest lead. And the Hawks have fought back, and now the Whalers have opened it up again, outscoring Hendricken in the last almost 2 minutes or so by a 9-2 margin.
But each time that the Whalers have had the opportunity to turn up the defensive pressure and to sustain it for more than one, trip down court, they've created turnovers. They've gotten buckets out of it. They go into a stall here, but then they try to get Dante back door. They get him, makes a great athletic move, as you said, and gets the bucket for him. Now you got to come down and you got to say to yourself, 43 seconds left in the game, 30-second clock. Let's take care of the basketball. Let's not do anything foolish here to get these guys back in the game. A three-pointer, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game, and there's still enough time for Hendricken to pull this thing out. If the Whalers can get a bucket and take care of the basketball, game's over.
Whalers will get the ball in bounds. Isaiah brings it in. They're going to call a foul away from the ball. It's going to be against Aaron Campini of the Whalers.
No, I'll tell you what, that's just a poor call. Paul Bortolani, over the years, really, I mean, some of his calls are very questionable. I've watched this for many years with Paul, and I can remember one game in particular, a Dartmouth-Stang game, where both coaches were ready to throw him out of the gym.
Bounce pass inside. Baldelli stuffs it home. And timeout called right away by the Hawks.
Well, we're back to a ball game again. Turnover by the Whalers on a questionable call. And Baldelli took advantage of it going in to score his 17th and 18th points of the contest. 18 points and 14 rebounds for Rocco Baldelli. He's had quite a game.
32.2 seconds left. Whalers up by 5. And they will get the basketball after this timeout. And I really didn't see that foul on Campini.
Well, I was watching it. There was no foul call. I mean, Paul Bortolani went out of his way to blow the whistle that time when it really wasn't necessary, but it doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to bash a referee because I'm sure I'll get told about it later on, but in plain English, over the years, I think he's been kept away from some of these New Bedford games for not because of New Bedford, but because of the reason that I think the tempo is too quick sometimes.
So the Whalers will get the ball back. Isaiah Hauptman will send it in. He does to Campini, and right away there's a foul by Jason Coleman, who's in the ball game.
Well, Coleman was sent in there to commit that foul, and what's kind of funny is after he commits the foul, he turned around and looked and said, "Me? I committed that foul?" Jason, that's what the coach told you to do.
8th team foul for Bishop Hendricken, so Campini will shoot 1 and 1. Now it's going to be key for the Whalers to hit their free throws down the stretch.
Yeah, and they've had a tough time with that here in the second half. As we said, they've only connected on 3 free throws in the second half in 10 attempts from the floor.
There's one for Campini.
Campini now with 7 points, couple of 3-pointers and that free throw.
Makes one of two, ball tipped up, and Garrity has it. Over to Coleman. Coleman pulls up for three. No good. Taken down by Blair Ramos. Now Fatula all the way down to Dante. And Dante's fouled by Trant. So it's 58-52 with 18 seconds left.
Yeah, Whalers now with a comfortable lead, 6 points, 18 seconds left. Now Dante cans at least one of these two, and things will be nice.
It'll be a 3-possession game if you can. There it is.
18 points now for Dante Bellistracci.
Misses the second. It's a 7-point game, 59-52. Munier for three, no. Fatula with the rebound, and he's fouled. Foul is going to be on Trent. Check that, Baldelli.
That's the 10th team foul of the half.
Game's pretty much over. Crowd starting to leave the Beards with Gonzalez gym, and the Whalers are going to win another ball game.
They will improve to 14-5. Fatula makes the first free throw, while the Hawks will drop to 15-5.
Good effort, though, by the Hawks tonight. They came in here, played some pretty good basketball at times. Just too many turnovers.
61-52. Under 10 seconds left. Coleman shoots a three from the corner. Fatula has it. Outlet pass to Dante, to Isaiah, and the exclamation point at the buzzer.
Throw it down, Isaiah. Throw it down.
So the Whalers, in a contest that really wasn't pretty to watch, Whalers get the job done, pulling away in the second half with free throws and that exclamation point dunk at the buzzer. The Whalers beat the Hendricken Hawks from Rhode Island 63-52. The Whalers will improve to 14-5 with one game to go, while the Hawks will fall to 15-5, and still one of the better teams in the state of Rhode Island.
No question about that, Keith. I think that when you look at the way they played against a very defensive-minded New Bedford team, as they always are, with that defensive pressure, you can see where the pressure bothered them. A lot of turnovers, but I don't think they faced this kind of competition in Rhode Island, and they would be a very, very strong contender for the Rhode Island crown when the year comes to an end. We take a look at our scoring for you. First of all, Dante Bellistracci led the Whalers. He had 18 points. Isaiah Houtman had 13. Blair Ramos had 14, along with 10 rebounds. And just a real good job of keeping the Whalers in the game in the second half by Blair Ramos. 8 points for Matt DeSantos, 5 points for Mark Fatula, 7 points for Aaron Campini, and Tim Walsh, Pat Reedy, and Charles Crowder played but did not score for a total of 63. Now on the other side, well, just a great game by Rocco Baldelli of the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. 18 points and 14 rebounds for Baldelli. Whalers just couldn't stop him or keep him off the glass. DJ Munier did not have a very good first half, only 2 points. Midway through the second half, started to heat up, finished up with 12 points. They had 10 points out of Mark DeFonte, and they got 2 points from John Trant, 2 points from Chris Sabatoni, 2 points from Carl Reels, and Mark Yakovonis off the bench contributed 6 points along with 4 rebounds in limited action, a total of 52 points. So the Whalers win it, and they improve their record, as you say, to 14-5.
One game to go.
One game left against Medford. And then from there, it's tournament time.
And we'll have every tournament game for you as far as the Whalers go. And hopefully it'll be all the way to the Worcester Centrum. That would be nice. I'd like to thank our New Bedford Educational Access staff here tonight. Bob Parati, the producer tonight, and his group of students, Justin Mayo, Damian Hughes, Donald Martin, and Ryan Dixon. So for Bernie Picanisco, I'm Keith Tebow saying so long from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym. Final score once again, the New Bedford High Whalers beating the Bishop Hendricken Hawks 63-52. Have a good night.
Hendricken.